A Sermon to the Dead. Written by Gabriel Ndayishimiye. Chapter 2. The Congregation. I have seen them, the congregation, not in churches, not in temples, but in queues, in waiting rooms, in traffic, in award ceremonies where the medals shine brighter than the souls beneath them. They gather like sheep, yes, but not even sheep with hunger or warmth. Once they surged together in terror and grief, a body gripped by pain that still pulsed with life. But now they file in like mannequins to a museum of old battles, their eyes dulled by ceremony. The struggle is no longer lived. It is reenacted. Even the language of resistance has been embalmed and displayed. Its slogans repeated like incantations drained of power. They chant freedom not to summon it, but to maintain the illusion that it once visited. What once shook walls now adorns banners. What once tore through silence now decorates programs handed out at state-funded memorials. And each ritual they repeat scrapes another layer of meaning from the memory they claim to honor. These ones bleat not for food or meaning, but for routine, for rhythm, for the blessed anesthesia of structure. They cross themselves before roundabouts. They pray not to God, but to the state, to the system, the slogan, the script. And I am their priest, their prophet, their idol carved from nothing more than the vacuum left by their abandoned will. And how I despise it, not just them for kneeling, but myself for standing in front of them, arms raised like some grotesque deity, aware that I am made of ash and arrogance. There are nights I fantasize about stepping down mid-ceremony, about walking into the crowd and vanishing into the anonymity they fear. But I never do. The weight of their gaze, the shape of their obedience, it feeds something vile in me. I did not ask to be their God, but I did not refuse it either. Arms raised like some grotesque deity, aware that I am made of ash and arrogance. I did not ask to be their God, but I did not refuse it either. Once, at a commemorative ceremony, I stood behind the curtain and watched them recite the national vow before I even reached the podium. It was raining. Thin, surgical drops, the kind that make no sound, only a sheen. No birdsong, no wind, no movement, just the click of distant boots on wet concrete and the faint hum of a generator somewhere beyond the curtain. It was the kind of quiet that doesn't soothe, but watches, the kind that feels like a held breath before a verdict. They spoke the words like a spell, lifeless, rhythmic, precise, their mouths moving in perfect synchronization, like a choir with no song, only breath. Their faces were blank, their eyes fixed ahead, but not seeing. One man in the front row wept, a single tear, timed too perfectly, with the final line. I asked myself if it was grief, but then I saw how his gaze slid sideways to the boots of a security officer stationed 2 meters away. It was not grief. It was choreography, discipline worn like devotion. And even that, I suspect, was rehearsed, not just once, but again and again, until the performance passed for truth. But what does a priest preach to a people who no longer believe, yet still kneel? Nothing. He becomes an echo chamber, a mouth that moves while the soul evacuates through the nostrils, like breath on a cold day. They do not look at me. They look through me. And I do the same, a ghost presiding over ghosts, each of us pretending the other is still alive. Later, as I speak, their gaze will return to my face, not in recognition, but in rehearsal. And I will return it in kind, as hollow meets hollow in perfect symmetry. Neither side remembers when the performance began, only that it must continue, as if the ritual was inherited from ancestors who themselves forgot what it meant. We are all actors in a script without an author, reciting lines to avoid silence. Their eyes, blank, reverent, terrified, reflect my own. That is the horror. They are me. I am them. We are one seething mass of mutual betrayal. I loathe them because I see what I have allowed. They adore me because they see what they dare not become. It is a cruel symmetry. I give them speeches like funeral hymns. They nod, they clap. I wonder if they know the applause is for their own burial, as if mourning too had been given a rehearsal schedule and a podium. If they don't, then perhaps they are blessed. If they do, then perhaps they are already damned. And so they gather in the public square, in government halls, in their homes behind drawn curtains, the congregation of the unawakened, worshiping nothing but the quiet, a sacred void where even God holds his breath, uncertain whether to speak or simply abandon the sermon entirely. Amen to that.